This is the update that we were all waiting for, and it's one that I didn't want to make an immediate video about right away, because if we had the opportunity to talk about this guy and every passing game where he didn't get any playing time, or he didn't get any ice time, or he was scratched, or whatever, if we made a video about everything that was going down, we would probably have ended up making a video every single day, and that's not really ideal. So today, what we're doing is we're talking about Philadelphia Flyers prospect 7th overall pick in 2023, Matvei Michkov, and his story this season so far. Now, if you've been paying attention to all the news and all the stuff about this prospect in the KHL, you would have seen that starting out 23-24, things were not great for Michkov. Sure, in the KHL preseason, he looked pretty good, and he was one of the more productive players on this team. However, once the regular season got underway for Michkov with SKA St. Petersburg, this is where things started to shift. Now, we need to talk about this one more time. We've talked about this in several videos over the past few years, but the KHL does not like to view itself as a developmental league for NHL prospects. It's a league where they have teams, and these teams are fighting with each other to win. The main objective in the KHL is to win. And even though Matvei Michkov was one of the most productive teenagers the KHL had ever seen last year with 20 points and 27 games played on loan to HK Sochi, there is some sort of an idea bouncing around that has been there for a while that says that the KHL sort of likes to punish guys who want to leave their league. And as a result, you've seen players over the past few years, young guys especially who are highly touted NHL talents, not really be given ice time, not really be given a role. So even though Matvei Michkov is legitimately talented, throughout the KHL season for SKA, he only played one game. He was healthy scratched for a bunch of games in a row with this team, and the one game he did play against Torpedo, Michkov only had 6 minutes of time on ice in the game. Add to this the 0 goals, the 0 assists, the 0 points, the 0 plus minus, 0 penalty minutes, 0 shots, 0 anything. Michkov did not do anything in the one singular game he had played with SKA, and only in 6 minutes of ice time. Because of this, you had yourselves an extended period where a lot of Flyers fans were kind of panicking. Wait a minute, this is not what we wanted. He was doing well in the preseason. He was scoring the lights out in the preseason. Why are they not playing him? Now, you could say a lot of the same patterns we have seen from KHL teams in the past is prevailing here. It's made even worse when you acknowledge that the coach of SKA St. Petersburg is somebody who doesn't really have much coaching experience in general. It's Roman Rottenberg, the entrepreneur and manager of the team. Not necessarily somebody who has had a bunch of experience, but instead is somebody at the very top of the organization. It's weird seeing him take over as the head coach of the team, and it's even more unfortunate when you acknowledge that this pattern of young guys not getting any playing time is prevailing once more. It's not like SKA is icing a lineup that is better without Michkov in it. He straight up makes the team better. We saw that in the preseason. We saw that last year. You don't get 20 points in 27 KHL games at 18 years old if you're not good. And he is very good. Which is why earlier this week, when we had the news that Matvei Michkov would once again be loaned out to HK Sochi, this was seen as a blessing for so many prospect fans, for so many Flyer fans who wanted to see this guy succeed. Michkov has since then played a game with Sochi, and guess what? He had 18 minutes of time on ice. He had 0 goals, but he had 2 assists, not to mention that he had 2 shots on goal, so there you go. And you could talk about the assists, you could talk about what exactly it is that he was able to do. The first assist that he got wasn't really all too noticeable because he was far away from the play when it happened, but still, he's the guy who, in his own zone, drops the puck back off to the defender, and eventually it gets sent up for Jesse Graham to come in and score. But the second assist that Michkov has is a little bit better, where he takes the puck in the offensive zone. He kind of steals it from his own defender, not gonna lie, and then throws it over to the OV spot. Puck gets thrown on goal, rebound is there, and it's potted in to the back of the net. Michkov gets 2 apples in his first KHL game with SK Sochi in 23-24, and we're all sort of hoping here that if Michkov is able to just kind of build on the skills that he had last year, that this will result in much more production from the young forward and Philadelphia Flyers prospect. Now, you could have the conversation about SKA St. Petersburg versus HK Sochi. Sochi's a much worse team. SKA has all the big names, they've got all the money, they've got guys like Galchenyuk on their team, they had Arseny Gritsyuk, Kuznetsov, even guys like Alexander Nikishin are out there doing pretty well. HK Sochi, on the other hand, I mean, the most recognizable name on this roster, in my experience, is Borna Renjulik, who is a former Canuck. But other than that, I mean, HK Sochi is Michkov's team for the taking. If he could go out there and prove that he was a lot more valuable than a 13th forward, 6 minutes of night time on ice type of guy, then it makes SKA look like the ultimate fools here. And it says to them, hey, your system is not working. Why do you have one of the executive guys as your head coach? Why were you not playing these young players? You see Ivan Demidov also with SKA St. Petersburg getting very limited ice time and not really all too many minutes. It's not great when you acknowledge that these guys are legitimately talented and they're just not being given a stage to show that talent off and help out their hockey team. For Michkov, it's because, oh yeah, he's gonna go to the NHL soon, so they want to punish him. But now he's on a team where they have no real reason to do that. HK Sochi just needs to get butts in the seats, and Michkov is a guy who will help them do that with his playmaking, with his goal scoring. We had talked about this before, but Michkov legitimately outproduced Alex Ovechkin as an 18-year-old in the Russian league. Of course, this is difficult to really project and say that Michkov is going to be the next Ovechkin, but even the Olympics back in 2020, whatever it was, they labeled Michkov as such. This is a guy that has so much gosh darn potential, but he was getting slowed down by circumstance. Then now playing for Sochi, where admittedly, I think there were some reports of him saying that he would not want to go back there because it reminded him of his father. I mean, okay, we could talk about the humanity side of it as well. Obviously, we remember that his father had unfortunately passed shortly before the NHL draft, but for Michkov to go back to Sochi from a hockey development standpoint, this is the best move possible, and I have a hard time believing that they wouldn't have at least talked to the guy and get his own input before sending him out, so actually, I mean, maybe they didn't. Maybe the SKA St. Petersburg team just kind of did whatever they want because that's what they've been doing this entire time. Who knows? Hopefully, this isn't all too traumatizing for Michkov as a person, but as a hockey player, this could not be better for his development. 18 minutes a night, top 6 minutes. Hopefully, he starts scoring some goals soon. He's already at 2 points in one game for Sochi, 2 points in 2 games in total, but that first game, we could say it doesn't really count because he only played 6 minutes, but either way, this is great. This is the update we've been waiting for, and it's one that I think Flyers fans are going to be happy to see and watch as the season goes on. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Matvei Michkov getting loaned out to Sochi once more, and how do you feel about him starting out his campaign this season with a bunch of secondary assists? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.